breaking out in Syria today. New reports putting the total kill, get a load of this, to over 19,000. Now, you would think that fact alone would have the United Nations focusing all its energies on saving lives there, and not on things like telling world leaders where to legalize prostitution and just make it legal everywhere. I kid you not. Claudia Rosett, not surprised at all. All right, so they're talking, Claudia, about making prostitution legal worldwide as tens of thousands are getting butchered in Syria. And he thinks their priorities are misplaced.
Correct, Neil. This is another classic case of UN wild overreach. This is an institution, the UN, that has failed to stop the North Korean or Iranian nuclear weapons program, is failing to stop the carnage in Syria. It hasn't even prevented one of its own organizations from transferring high-tech sanctions banned materials to North Korea. But they now want to instruct the world on how to handle prostitution. And
the end to that is what? That if you make this legal everywhere, it will be better for all our health everywhere. That, in other words, they're going to be screened. They'll be more inclined to check by a doctor. I don't understand. What?
I think because you don't understand because it's immensely confusing. The UN itself has a convention that actually requires member states to prohibit prostitution, to make it illegal. They have another convention that would sort of suggest it should be legal, depending on which convention you prefer, have ratified or whatever. But
who sits on that convention? Because he thinks they're the ones who utilize the services of prostitutes. But I digress.
Let's cut to the chase, Neil. I theorize that this is at bottom about money. The UN raised a lot of money in its fight against HIV/AIDS. A very good fight. But this has been going, HIV/AIDS, as people learn more about it, it has become less the colossal disaster that we were terrified of some years ago. And the donations are drying up. And we now have the UN sort of making this push for a whole massive across-the-board approach to fighting HIV/AIDS, and in which they would now have countries around the world repealing laws against prostitution. If you look at the actual findings of the committee that put this out, in order to allow, sort of promote health measures for sex workers around the world. Who is supposed to be doing this? What it all has the makings of, the phrase that jumped out at me in this report is that donations have been flagging. And there's a whole new initiative going on. This is under the UN Development Program, which is also under fire right now. Fox has been leading the way on the stories about this, for the same UN Development Program that just helped another UN organization transfer high-tech computers to North Korea. The UN Development Program has also been hosting this committee, which has now put out these recommendations on how they wish to tackle HIV/AIDS. And the sweeping recommendation is just repeal laws against prostitution, and they go beyond that to say provide health care for sex workers, safe conditions for sex workers. Okay, there's a whole complex debate there, Neil, over how you deal with prostitution. But the UN, if there's an organization on the planet not equipped to spark this, engage in it, preside over it, deal with it, or prescribe anything to the rest of us, it's the UN. Neil, they haven't even managed to stop their own peacekeepers.
And there's the other little side optics issue of the UN addressing prostitution of any sort is probably not a good image maker. But finally, do you get a sense that they're just unable to handle these other issues, so they figure let's move on to an issue everyone might agree on?
Very much so. Actually, they have at this point so many issues where they're forever looking for anything that they can cook up, imagine, where they think that they can get some traction. The UN has become an endless factory of bizarre, self-serving initiatives. That's what this is part of.
Claudia, good stuff as always. Your reporting, that is, not the results of what the UN is doing. Claudia, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.